Before we get started, let's be clear. I'm not in a bad mood. I haven't consumed any alcohol or any drugs, and nor am I having a bad interaction with some sort of medication. I'm just simply fed up. And before we proceed, let me go ahead and address the smart alecks that are bound to comment. So let me just say it here, because I know that I'll probably have to type it later. I'm tired of two groups of people as they relate to black men, especially. Those people who think that black men can't be intelligent and that if they speak in intelligent ways or just use English properly for that matter, that they are putting on a front, that they are trying to get the approval of the white man, etc. Well, fuck you. And I'm also tired of the other group that thinks that if a black man speaks in stereotypical ways, that is truly how black people are across the board, as if the range of any group within humanity is so stunted. Well, you know what? Fuck you too. And I don't mean that I'm wishing you some sort of fantastic sexual escapade. No, 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 no. I want you to be screwed in the worst way, like by the IRS or by Homeland Security, that sort of thing. So, fuck you. It's funny how people are. They love to put you in little boxes, label you, and push you to the side. They can't even handle the diversity of the inner man, let alone deal with the complexities of life. Damn. They just love the hamster ride. Reminds me of a Fishbone lyric where they're stating it all gets started over again with a different beginning and a different end. As you look at humanity, you see the same damn dramas being replayed, rebroadcasted as stupid ass people watch with their mouth agape. Can't you hear them say, "Oh, Johnny, what is going to happen next?" As if they don't know. Most people, though, they accept their roles and play their part. Does that ever get old to you? People ignore the obvious and are afraid to state the obvious as if they told the truth, they will melt away. So what do they resort to? Nothing. No thing. But guess what? It will not go away. So let's do a little experiment. You go and lay down the biggest dump you can imagine in your toilet, I hope. Let the seat stay open and do not flush the fecal matter, okay? What happens? Tell me what happens 1 day, 2 days, 4 days in to the experiment. I tell you what will happen. Bacteria will grow. The funk will become so overwhelming, depending on the ventilation that you have. And the disgust, even if for an instant, will morph over your face or those who will pass that nasty little pile that you have created days ago. So what makes you think that your inaction within life would generate anything different than what we have just discussed? So you can just afford to see the world in the dismay that it is in. You can afford to walk out in the middle of the road as an ongoing car is approaching you rapidly and not move out of the way, even though you know that if you continue to stay there and do nothing, that certainly you will be in a great deal of hurt, possibly even dead. How does that sort of living work for you? I look at my video topics and it is so funny how people think my work is just so one-dimensional. They do not get the classroom is open. And no, I'm not full of myself, just listen. The classroom is open and we all, A-L-L, are teachers and students. Nah, what happens, they get bogged down with the title and they, in their limited ways of looking at the world, their limited ability to stay on course from beginning to end, they just assess that they understand what it's going to be about. But hey, isn't that the way it really is out in the real world? Motherfuckers as stupid as all get out running things, right? Making comments, claiming they know what's going on. There are those out there who talk a good game, but they're just simply lazy or cowardly. These fools rather take their enslavement over death. Funny thing about death, it's permanent. Yeah, get that. Permanent. And yes, it can be frightening. And definitely, I'm not in any hurry to get there. But life is much more frightening, or it can be, depending upon who you're surrounded by and what's going on inside of you that you may be running from. You know, physical death may be permanent, but there is also such a thing as mental and emotional death. And we don't have to subject ourselves to it. We do not have to be a member of that permanency. We can lift ourselves up and we can make ourselves better, different. We can choose to be alive. But most of you fucking simpletons think that consuming, fucking, purchasing the bullshit of other people's lack of intelligence and grotesqueness within them, that purchasing, buying into, investing into that sort of reality is the way. Well, hey, I'm not going to try to tell you how to live your life. I believe that if you wish to fuck yourself up, that you should be allowed to do so without me making any statements in regards to it. But just stay out of the way of those people who are trying to be better, who are trying to make their world better. Go over there and rot by yourself or with those of like mind. Hey, thanks for that. Much appreciated. Thank you. But life, this is where you will get the opportunity to show what you are really about, where you will be bombarded with all types of fairy tales, where the establishment will tell you lies, and where you may be fooled into believing them. And yet, life seems to be showing me daily well indoctrinated motherfuckers that think that multisyllabic utterances, a few degrees, and a fat paycheck is going to make life grand and give pause for others to bow down to them. On the other end, you have people who are stuck on stupid, who will not pick up a book, are content at accepting only what others feed them, and will roll like that and think everything is all right. Everything I need to know, I get from my experience. No one can teach me anything. Yeah, right. But what do these two groups have in common? Many will sell you out too quick. You got plenty of them in both groups. Definitely plentiful. There are many who are mesmerized by their agenda to the exclusion of all things going on around them and inside of them. And members from both groups will eventually die. Yet, they think what they give to the world is the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, there was a time where people, professional or not professional, seem on average to be fairly decent. But I don't really have much faith in humanity, though I still believe in the possibility of people becoming better if they select to. But my overall hopes for humanity, every single day, I gotta admit, it's not as great as it was the day before. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mean to use that word believe when referring to the transformation that is possible within man. I know that members of the human family can transform, can be either better or not that they can transform in the opposite direction, but I know that they can invest in change, hopefully for the positive. Not too long ago, people of the medical industry, professionals, don't you know, would drill into another person's skull to let the demons out. One of my subscribers made me well aware of that, even though, of course, I knew that. They reminded me. That caused me to think, of course. Fucking brutal, wasn't it? Brutal reality. Yet we think because our technology has improved, our database has grown, and our infrastructures have been refined, that brutal, barbarous acts no longer exist. Because we are somehow better as a species. That a clean room makes all the horrors of men fade into the sunset, all in the name of progress, and we are so quick to pat ourselves on the back for the stepping stones that we have laid in our search for advancement. Please. So then we push the button, fast forward. We got those educated punks that roll out into their heavily flawed reasoning so they can tilt the bottle and get drunk off of their need of superiority. Laying down shit about the Austro-Hungarian Empire or the Ottoman Empire. Talking mad shit. Which amounts to nothing but repressive memes and an acknowledgement that nothing has changed but the costume, the lovely environment we can construct as we defecate all over the place and we indulge ourselves in our propensity to make life a living hell for others while we're at it. Some of these bitch-ass punks, let's keep it real, want to reason that diverse communities are bad because people are less likely to be charitable or unwilling to volunteer because they're around people who are different. Oh, so due to the folly of mankind and mankind's unwillingness to get over their differences, we should appeal to the worst that is within them, right? Oh, he was trying to sell me that bullshit. Yet this is a reason to construct the opposite, right? Everybody goes their own separate ways. Oh, you stay in that corner, the blacks stay over here, the whites stay over here. Oh, the Asians, you stay over there. Please, as if the system gives a shit what your color skin is, how much money you make, or where you take residence, or if we can afford to fool ourselves into believing that the world of today would allow such. Interesting. So we should just cater to the weaknesses of mankind, right? We shouldn't progress at all, right? Yeah. And the only way that we can progress is to keep things tidy and neat, right? How fucked up in the head are you? But we all do that often, don't we, as a collective? Then we go down these damn roads with ignorant people ranting about the horrors of this and that, especially as it applies to religion. Yet these people are so willing to ignore the ugliness in their mind as it regards their personal institutions of expressed beliefs as they put down other people and the things that they do in order to be able to sleep at night. But let me make a point about some Christians that I know, and not the ones that I think that are good people. These particular types of Christians, they will justify the killing of a Muslim. They will even go so far to be okay with deforming their young. Yeah. One less person to be concerned about, right? They're okay with waving a blood-soaked flag left and right. But when killings like this sort, the ones that they create in their mind that they justify from others or from their own hands. Well, when they see these killings manifested, whether it be a mass murder or bombing or whatever, guess what? All of a sudden they're appalled. All of a sudden it's a criminal act. All of a sudden it's evil. This is just another example of many people exercising what is a dehydrated moral body. Dehydrated from the waters of goodness, kindness, fair conduct, appropriate conduct. Yeah, these are the motherfuckers that need rule of law in order to be okay, in order to understand that they shouldn't hit other people or throw trash out their windows when they're driving down the highway. And they really need those rules of law to stay in check, bitches. Now let's go to FEMA, that nasty piece of work that surfaced due to the Executive Order 12148. Tell me, why way back in 2005 was it reported that FEMA only used roughly, I think it was 6% of their budget on national emergencies? Why didn't I hear people screaming and shouting about all that other money and where it went to? Nah, FEMA, they're completely legit, right? They're a government entity, right? They're an agency of the government that makes everything okay in times of national emergencies, right? They can't possibly have anything else going on, right? Well, smarty pants, tell me why we have Executive Order 10997 that allows the government to take over all electrical power, minerals, fuel, and petroleum. Or tell me, why do we have Executive Order 11001 that allows the government to take over all education, health, and welfare functions? That's because, don't tell me, because the government and the people within the government, I should say, always have the best interests of their fellow human at the forefront of their personal agendas. So why Executive Order 10998 that allows the government to take over all farms and food resources? Food resources, yeah. Think about that. Yet some of you fools will tell me we live in a free country. I should be happy that I live in such a great country. Well, you know what? I am happy that I have what I have. I'm happy that I'm able to speak with you today. I acknowledge that even with all of the bullshit that surrounds me, that they mind fuck us by allowing us to do certain things. And as long as we have certain options available to explore, indeed I am grateful. But I will call it like I see it. America is not a free country. And you are not a free man unless you make up in your mind to be free. The government doesn't make you free. Residing in a particular country because they have certain political writings or philosophical writings that they show proudly to the world, that doesn't make you free. You have to be free within yourself before you can experience any freedom outside of yourself. But I'm not going to jump into that, because some of you stupid ass bitches wouldn't understand if I really laid it out for you to consider. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to keep it moving. So have you figured out about these food resources yet? And why the government would need to take over all food resources? All. Have the ability to do so, that is. No, you're not a slave because you don't resemble what a slave supposedly looks like. And you're not doing what a slave has reportedly done, right? You're not out there in the fields picking cotton. or something along those lines. You're not on some plantation, are you? Doing the work of your master, your massa, or your master, depending on how you wish to pronounce it. Nah, you're not a you're not a slave because you don't have any shackles on. You don't have any marks on your back from a whip. Huh. So let me see here. We can have technological advancements in medicine. We can have technological advancements in travel, physics, chemistry. Surely we can have gradual improvements or growth or development in political science, composition, whether that be literary or musical composition, advances within the making of certain tools that aids us in the construction of our homes or various infrastructures. But we can't have any advancement in regards to the making of a better slave. Okay, things can't morph and become something new, yet remain the same in function. And there's not any possible way that there are different types of chains and shackles and manacles. They all have to be made of steel. You can take that piss-ass reasoning and escort yourself out the door. You know what I don't want to hear? I don't want to hear any more of your bullshit. I just don't. But I know I will. As long as I stay in a social forum, as long as I take breath on this planet, I'm going to be bombarded by someone's bullshit if it's not my own. And believe me, I do everything I can to make sure that the bullshit within me is at an all-time low. I work on that every day. You know, time is short and we must be picky about the people that we associate with and the energy we entertain and honor if we are reasonable people, if we see the value within ourselves. You can go ahead and pretend the world has always been as it is, full of corruption, and there's nothing special about what I'm talking about and where we're at right now in our development as a species. That shit always been going on, right? You can pretend that GMOs are no biggie. Yeah, reason that away. Reason away also while you're at it that it's a good thing that the US government will poke its head up every cavity if you allow them to, and sometimes without your consent, yet they have not taken it upon themselves to safety test or to provide proper labelings for genetically altered foods. Yeah, okay, Yep, we're such a smart group of people, aren't we? We let shit like that happen all the time, right? You can continue to believe that Monsanto is your friend and that the presidents, no matter who they may be, no matter their ethnic background or political posturings, will not use fear of terrorism as an organizing tool to drive the U.S. into some sort of, well, I don't know, maybe worldwide hegemony. Nah, you guys, you go ahead and play your sports. Think about that next fuck you're gonna get, how good that next piece of ass is gonna be, about how fat your wallets are, about that vacation you're gonna take next year. Play your race games, expand your drama of the MRA struggles versus the feminist plots that abound. And you feminists, keep on thinking, some of you, that men are evil and that the world would be different if a woman was in charge. Of course, when I speak about difference, I am referring to all of the ills that are supposedly created specifically and only by men would no longer exist, and that everything would just become better due to your maternal instincts and your ability to apply your superior method of looking at the world and dealing with reality. Yeah, keep this war going on about religion versus science. And you guys keep being impressed just because someone has credentials, whether they're in the religious world or in the science world. Praise be technology as being the savior of men, even though we have not mentally or emotionally proven that we can handle the likes of, let's say, neutron bomb and various biotechnologies, or communicative technologies for that matter. Also, while you're at it, ask why we have new TVs, new computers, and new phone technology advancements, but we're not allowed to have free energy. Whatever. I'm tired of the sick little minions running the show. Tired of us not valuing love and positive creative function. Tired of us not seeing the positive that we're capable of constructing. Yet pretending, because most of us, we're not getting off our asses, most of us, to make a change. Nah, we just type, talk, consume, play a role, right? Fuck you. We don't need people like you. And yeah, I said it. I'm going to keep it moving. That's what I'm going to do. If I don't put up with the bullshit inside of myself, if I check myself, if I check my beliefs, if I check my internal tapes, if I have no problems putting myself in check daily, what makes you think that the likes of you will slow me down? Please.